On the 26th of December 2022, Cody Fisher, a 23-year-old semi-professional footballer, was murdered in Crane nightclub in Birmingham by Remy Gordon and Carpenter. Both men were found guilty of his murder and the affray of Cody's friend Daniel Van, and were sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 26 years for Gordon and 25 years for Carpenter. In this video, I'm going to go through the judge's sentencing remarks following their sentence and explain how the judge came to the sentence that he did. Welcome to my channel, Andy on Crime, where I talk about high-profile criminal cases and other aspects of criminal law in England and Wales. Now, before I deal briefly with the facts of this case, I should point out that I've put a link in the description to the judge's sentencing remarks, where he sets out in great detail the facts of this case at paragraphs 1 to 27, and I would strongly encourage everyone to read them. But dealing briefly with the facts of this case, in the early hours of Christmas morning in 2022, Cody Fisher was in Pop World when he bumped into Remy Gordon by accident. Following a brief exchange whereby Gordon offered to fight Cody, the situation de-escalated and the parties left without any violence occurring. But Gordon did not take this perceived slight lightly and immediately sought to find out who Cody was and seek revenge. On the 26th of December 2022, some 2 days later, Cody and his girlfriend Jessica Chatwin went to Crane nightclub in Digbeth in Birmingham. Gordon arrived shortly thereafter, followed by Carpenter. Once they had ascertained that the security on the door was weak, a knife was smuggled into the club. Gordon then confronted Cody before he was then attacked by multiple people, including Gordon and Carpenter. And the attack ended when Cody was fatally stabbed by Carpenter and was then kicked to the floor by Gordon. Both individuals then fled the nightclub. Carpenter was arrested on the 27th of December before he was able to flee to Jamaica as he had planned. Gordon had sought to evade of police by travelling to London, but he was arrested on the 29th of December. Both Gordon, Carpenter and another individual called Regan Anderson were charged with murder and the affray of Cody's friend Daniel Van. On the 25th of March 2024, following that trial, Gordon and Carpenter were found guilty of Cody's murder, whilst Anderson was found not guilty of murder. All three were found guilty of the affray involving Daniel Van. On Monday the 8th of April, Gordon was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 26 years, and Carpenter was given a life sentence with a minimum term of 25 years. Now, turning to the judge's sentencing remarks, and the first thing to point out with regards to the sentencing of both Gordon and Carpenter is that anyone convicted of murder in England and Wales will automatically be given a life sentence. The only question is how long the minimum term will be. So starting with Gordon, although Carpenter was the person who actually stabbed Cody, Gordon was deemed to be the leader of the group. He was the person who was slighted on the 24th of December, and he was the one who wanted revenge. Now, the judge found at paragraph 29 of the sentencing remarks that Gordon knew that Carpenter had a knife, and he knew that it would be used to cause at least really serious harm. At paragraph 30, the judge found that he could not be sure that Gordon himself took the knife into the nightclub, but he knew that the knife was to be taken in and used as a weapon. Now, when it comes to determining the minimum term, the judge must refer to Schedule 21 of the Sentencing Act 2020, which sets out the factors which determine the starting point for an offence of murder. In this case, the judge did not find that Gordon's actions fell within Section 2 or Section 3, which would have attracted a minimum term of either a whole life order or 30 years. The judge determined that this fell within Section 4, whereby the starting point would be 25 years. Now, once a judge determines the starting point, they can then adjust the sentence up or down depending on any aggravating or mitigating factors in the case. Now, the judge found that there were 5 aggravating factors for Gordon outlined in paragraph 31. Firstly, that he engaged in significant planning. Secondly, that this was group violence in a public place. Thirdly, that Gordon was also convicted of affray against Daniel Vann at the same time. Fourthly, that Gordon was involved in removing the knife sheath from Crane's nightclub after the murder. And finally, that he also had a conviction for possession of a bladed article from February of 2022. In terms of mitigating factors, the judge could not find that Gordon intended to kill Cody, only that he intended to cause him really serious harm. And the judge also found that he was 22 years of age, so relatively youthful, albeit an adult at the time of the offence. Now, having considered the aggravating and mitigating factors, the judge increased the minimum term by a year, taking the total minimum term to 26 years. With regard to Carpenter, who actually committed the act which killed Cody, he was also assessed to have a starting point of 25 years. The aggravating factors for Carpenter, which are at paragraph 33, were that he was part of a planned and sustained group attack in a crowded nightclub. He disposed of his clothing and attempted to flee the country, and that he intended to kill Cody rather than simply cause him really serious harm, as the judge had found with Gordon. For mitigation, the judge found that only one mitigating factor was present, the fact that he was 21 at the time of the offending. When considering both the mitigating and aggravating factors, the judge did not alter the starting point, so Carpenter's minimum term remained 25 years. The third man, Anderson, was given 18 months for the affray, for which he will serve half of his sentence before being automatically released at the halfway point. Gordon and Carpenter will serve the entirety of their minimum term before being considered eligible to apply for release. That does not mean that they will be released once their minimum term has been completed. It means that they can go before the parole board to apply for release. They will only be released if and when they satisfy the parole board that they are no longer a danger to the public.